Hi, this is Tori Quismondo, your instructor. The purpose of this video is to assist you with your files that will help you learn the task properly in order to take your Word certification. Let's get started. If I select the Assignments button and I click into Module 1, I'm going to scroll down in Module 1. I've already looked at my Word tips and I understand all of the tips that are available. I've looked at my Word tasks and I feel comfortable with some of those tasks, and now it's time to practice. So I'll click on Word Practice Files, and the first one is Project 1 TechConnect. So I see I have a set of instructions there. I can click on the instructions and print those out. This way I can mark off each one as I complete the task. And then I have a file called TechConnect, which is my starter file, and that's the one that I will work on. So if I were to open TechConnect and start my instructions, my very first instruction said, find the word Kara and replace it with Kara. To do that, I'll make sure I'm on the Home tab, and on the far right, I'll click the Replace button. I'm going to find C-A-R-A and replace it with K-A-R-A. I'll select Replace All. 3 replacements were done. Okay, and I can close this. So we have just completed our first task. Now, had I have read the document and manually replaced those, I would not earn the credit for that because they want you to use the software properly, and in order to replace text properly, you would use the Replace button. Step number 2, find the word true in Albert Einstein's quote and delete it from the document. Well, let's remember here that these tests are timed. So I'm going to click on the Find button on the Home tab in the Editing group. And there I will type true. It's going to find the word true, and this is in the Albert Einstein's quote, so I'm good to go. I can select the word true, and I will hit delete on my keyboard. Now, had I have selected the word true and hit backspace, or had I backspaced out of that, I would not earn my credit because we have to use the software properly. Step number 3, after the title TechConnect, add a space and insert Automatic Table 1 Table of Contents. Now, I'm going to share with you a button as I'm scrolling up here, and it's on the Home tab in the paragraph grouping, and this was on a tip. And here we've got our Show Hide button, and this Show Hide button is going to share with me all of the formatting. Now, this specific set of instructions is going to ask me to add a space. After the title TechConnect, add a space. So I need to add a space, even though there's one there. Add a space after the title TechConnect, and this is where I will put my table of contents. So I'm going to the References tab, Table of Contents, and Automatic Table 1. There we go. The next step is going to ask us to add a page break after the table of contents. Well, I can still see my formatting, and I want to make sure that I'm using the latest space after the table of contents. I can see that this space is included in the table of contents, so I do not want to use that one. I'll go to the next space down. I'm coming up here to my Insert tab, and I'm going to choose my Page Break button. Once I do that, if I look with my Show Hide button on, I can see the words Page Break, so I know that it is there. If I go to my Home tab and I choose to turn that formatting Show Hide off, it will go away and I cannot view it. But it's nice if you're looking for something that you can see that. Step number 5, add alt text of Red 30 Cares icon to the Red 30 Cares icon. Okay, so it's going to tell us that this icon is listed in the start of the document, so I know it's pretty close up here. And here we go. Here is our Red 30 Cares icon. First, I need to select it. Then I'm going to right-click, and after I right-click, I'm going to say Edit Alt Text. In this alt text over here, I'm going to type it exactly how it is in my set of instructions. If I misspell or I put a space in the wrong location, it will not give me credit. So this says Red 30 Cares space icon. That's what the directions say, and I will do it exactly how the directions say. I'm done with that, so I'm going to X out of this navigation and I'm going to click off the image. During the test, they will place tasks back to back on purpose so that you forget to exit one and try the next and it will not work. For example, if I were still in this alt text and then I tried to do find and replace, it would replace nothing because I still have this image selected. Does that make sense? So when you are done with your task, X out of it and click off of it to make sure that you are done with that task completely. Number 6, apply the centered style to the document. If I'm on my Home tab and I look at these styles here, because that's what you're going to be drawn to first, these are styles for text. These are not document styles. These are text styles. So this question specifically says to add the centered style to the document. So therefore, I need to go to the Design tab because the Design tab is the one that holds everything for a document. This is where you get your page color, your page border, your watermarks, the things for your document. So you'll see styles here. They are in alphabetical order. And I want centered, okay? And as I hold my mouse over it, I can see the word centered and I select it. It will apply it. That is all I need to do. I can now move on to step 7. Step 7 says change the email heading to heading 3 from a heading 2. Well, if I would like to see my headings on my navigation, I can click right here where it says headings and view my headings. I can see that there is an email heading, and it is a style too because it's in one notch from the employee spotlight. Okay, I'm going to click there and it will take me to that heading. And it's going to ask me to change this from a heading 2 style to a heading 3 style. Now those styles come from my Home tab because this is for specific text. So hopefully that will help you. So I'm going to select this text and I will choose a heading 3 style for it. And when I do that, you can see that it moved in one more notch and it is now officially a heading 3 style. Now, I'd also like to mention that my table of contents that I entered earlier shows that as a heading 2 style. If I would like to update that, I need to click once on my table of contents and tell it that I would like to update the table but update everything. And once I do that, it will move the email in one more notch so it is then moved into a heading 3 style. Let's click off the table of contents. It did not ask me to update the table of contents. I just thought I would share that with you. And let's go ahead and look at step number 8. On step number 8, it asks us to find the sentence, and it gives me a long sentence to find. Well, I don't want to search the whole document because we are timed on this test, and the more efficient you are, the more time you have to work with your tasks. So I'm going to start to type this sentence in. We also partner, and it's going to find it here. We also partner with our annual give-a-thon. So here is the sentence that it's going to ask me to work with. It tells me to find this sentence, and after the sentence, insert a footnote with the text, and it gives me text. So after the sentence, now if it says after the sentence but before the period, you would click in between. So you've got to read your directions carefully when they give them to you. But this one says after the sentence. It's going to ask me, after the sentence, insert a footnote. So I will go to my References tab, and I'm going to insert footnote button. It's going to add a footnote at the bottom for me. And it tells me that I need to type in there, stated by the head of the department. And I need to type that exactly. No misspells. Put my proper spacing in there. In your set of instructions, everything that's in quotation marks means exact. So when you go to take your test, if it's in quotation marks, it means type it exact. Stated by the head of the department. Oops. Sometimes on this little laptop that I'm using, I will hit the touchpad and mess something up. So that's okay. I'm going to do it again. There we go. I hit undo. Sometimes I hit the little touchpad because this is a very small laptop. Stated by the HE, by the head of the department. Period. I hit it again. Okay, that's okay though. All right. Sometimes on these little laptops, you know, when you're trying to type and multitask, that happens, and that's okay. Come on back to me. Come on. All right. Well, you understood how to complete that task, and you can see it. Oh, now I've undone it completely. Let's just do it again. That's fine with me. We also partner. Let's find that sentence. Here we go. And I can type it in, but apparently I cannot type it in. Okay. All right. I keep hitting the touchpad, so I'm going to stop with that one. I'm going to move on. All right, you guys understand how to do that, so there's no use in me beating a dead horse. Let's take a look at task number 9. Task number 9, add a dark blue accent 1 box page border to the whole document. And I've already mentioned that when you're going to make an adjustment to the whole document, it's probably under the design. So I'll go to the design tab and choose my page borders button. Once I select that, I want to make sure to identify this is going to be a box border. And I need it to be dark blue accent 1. Dark blue accent 1 for my color. Now, if I select the wrong one, I will not get the credit at all. This is blue accent 1. That's blue-gray text 2. That's blue. And this is dark blue. And that's blue accent 5. So this here specifically says add the dark blue accent 1. Dark blue accent 1. And I don't see it. And you know why? Because I've changed some of these things up when I created this document. So probably I'll go back and change your set of instructions to make it say dark blue and not dark blue accent 1. But we're going to stick with dark blue. Now, if your instructions say dark blue accent 1, you need to find it. But it will be there for you. Since I'm creating these documents myself, sometimes I can make an error. So let's just go with the dark blue. But in your test, if it tells you dark blue accent 1, you've got to find that. Okay. And now, sometimes it will actually give you more tasks to complete. Like maybe you've got to change the width of it to 3 or something like that. But this particular one did not ask for that. So we're going to leave that as the default. If it doesn't give you any more steps, then you leave it as the default. Now we're going to say OK. And now we have applied our page border. Let's go to step number 10. Now I'm going to stop this video after step number 10 and then pick up with step 13 to the end. This way you don't feel like you're watching a video forever and ever. So let's take a look at step 10. Step 10 asks us to inspect the document and remove all headers, footers, and watermarks found. Do not remove other information. To inspect our document, we will have to go to the File tab. Under the File tab, we will click this button here called Check for Issues. And then we can choose Inspect Document. It says I need to make sure that I save my changes, so I'll say yes, I'd like to save the changes. And now it's going to release it for me and ask me if I would like to inspect or what I want to inspect. I'm going to tell you the easiest thing to do is just to leave everything selected and just say Inspect. Once you've chosen that Inspect, it will come up with different options of things for you to remove. Now this question specifically asks, remove all headers, footers, and watermarks. Do not remove other information. This one here is talking about personal properties. That is not what we want to remove. This one is talking about custom XML data. That is not what we want to remove. This is our headers, footers, and watermarks category. We are going to say remove all. You do not need to reinspect. However, if you want to, you can. It is not necessary. And then say close, you are done. That is steps 1 through 10 on the first project, Tech Connect. Pick up with the remaining tasks in the next video.